So Joel, this is the part of the gallery where your artwork is featured. I see you're a man of multi-skills. You're doing the the cancer awareness for men. You're doing artwork. So let's take a look at some of your artwork and tell me about it.
I like the way you say a man with multiple skills.
So tell me, what's happening here?
Well, you're looking at a period of my life where I wanted to experiment with abstract, and it's something I always wanted to do some years back. And so I spent about 7 years developing this particular talent. And of course, with abstract, most people would say, well, hey, there are no rules, but in a sense, I combined it with a little of my graphic style, and I created this new series that's titled Attitudes of My Ancestral, and that's based on our history of abstracts from Africa. Mm-hmm. Here you have, in each painting you have these faces, and with abstract, it's what you interpret, and that's what we try to do as an artist. And we see one thing, but we like for the public to have their own interpretation of the painting. So that's the beautiful part about abstract, because they can see a variety of anything that they want to see. So it may not be faces to some, it could be horses, or it could be a city. So it is whatever your imagination, wherever it takes you. Here, this is a very special series. I started this series in the early 80s. It's my body movement series. Mm-hmm. And this collection is a very, very unique collection, and a lot of unique collectors have at least 1, 2, maybe some have 3 or 4 paintings in their collections. Some of my collectors are people like Oprah, mm-hmm. Quincy Jones, Bernie Marcus. If you don't know who Bernie Marcus is, he's one of the co-founders of Home Depot. He and Arthur Blank, Rudy Giuliani, Mala Gibbs, and the list go on. Mm-hmm. A bunch of doctors and lawyers who enjoy collectors, and some famous dancers as well.
Okay. The dance collection is my favorite. That was the first thing that captured my attention.
Yeah, well, and most people like that. And I designed them in a way that it works with your moods. If you walk into your home, and even though we have a lot of light on them, but if the lights were dim, the figures, it gives the figures a unique effect. Same here. And you can actually do this as a triptych, and what that means is sometimes an artist would do 3 figures and they put them in one frame, and each one will have their own individual mat, which is considered a triptych. But I decided to break this up a little bit, just to kind of give a little space, just to kind of give a wonderful feel in terms of the movements and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. And this over here?
And here it has a little impressionist style to it. It's considered to be a wash. And normally this is a quick painting, where you just taking a brush and you're going with broad strokes, and then which this is done in acrylic, but with acrylic you can treat it like a watercolor, and we take the brush and then you take the strokes and you just dip it in color and you dilute it with the water, and it gives you this effect, and then you can always come back and touch it up to give it a little bit more contrast. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like the colors in this.
This piece right here, the original piece is in Atlanta. This is a serigraph, and it's titled Hanging at the Games. And what I was creating was this movement of actually men, coming and going. And Hanging at the Games is basically just the game of life. Mm-hmm. Things that we have to go through and deal with, and all the creativity and sports and all that other stuff that we like.
Uh-huh.
This is, this was done in the 90s. And actually this piece, the subject of these 3 young ladies, they are my nieces. And now they're in their 20s and they have kids, But the title of this piece is titled Small Wonders. And one day we were downtown Atlanta, I think outside of Underground, they were actually standing that way, looking, checking out the horse and carriage that was going by, so they were very excited about that. But this is part of a period of when you talk about black art, or you talk about illustrations. That was one of the periods where I was doing a lot of illustrations for books and design, and I combined it, that illustration as fine art, where since we were doing this thing of black art at the time when it was really hot in the early, the late 80s and the early 90s, so.
So did you paint this freehand from thought, or did you take a picture and then paint?
Yeah, we do it both ways. We take a picture, and then some artists will look at a picture and create the composition, or we do it from thought. Even though we may have a picture and we may start out one way, but we may see something in our minds and we may add that to the composition. This is more of an impressionist piece here, because if you notice, it's just a bunch of, well, not a bunch of colors, but there's actually 3 colors that I'm using, and there's really no hard lines on this particular piece. And normally those paintings like this is considered to be more of an impressionist piece. Windows of Opportunity, yes.
Oh, I
same
love
thing.
this.
It's like a, and this piece was done in 87. And Windows of Opportunity, again, if you think about living in Georgia, of course you have the brick and, the wooden frames for the windows and everything, and the kids, you always had kids looking out. But I titled Windows of Opportunity because, even though they're young, but, they have their whole life ahead of them, all types of wonderful opportunities. So, and then one thing about being in Atlanta, you see a lot of homes like that, brick homes or wooden homes, and you occasionally would see kids looking out the window or hanging out and things of that nature. So, and when I saw that, I wanted to kind of like put a piece like that together, and it just kind of takes you back into the past.
Well, you have another passion as well that
Yes.
we're going to be discussing. So what is it that you're doing pertaining to bringing awareness to cancer for men, or this is an organization you've started? Is it for profit or nonprofit?
It's for profit. It's titled Not One Forgotten. A few years ago, I was watching media coverage of why pink and the pink ribbon was so powerful in the fight against cancer. And as an artist, I'm lying there thinking like, wow, there are no powerful symbols or symbols for men. And so I was invited to do this exhibition for women with cancer, and a doctor walked up to me and said, well, hey, women have it all. He was making a joke out of it, but he said, well, really, if there was a symbol or a design that was attractive enough to wear, I would wear it as a man. But I couldn't believe, it blew my mind, because I could not believe what I was hearing, especially when I was talking about it earlier that year, or thinking about doing something like that earlier that year. And then, so I decided, and I designed the piece. I laid it out first, and it was a totally different color. A year later, I lost 2 good friends to cancer, and that really got me to start.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question.
Yes, yes.
Where did the whole thought process come from?
I lost 2 good friends. One was a master sculptor in Atlanta. He worked at Spelman, and he's one of the best. He's as a matter of fact, he was a Florida native, but he was one of the best. Played golf with him, his son, and I had another good friend up in Helen, Georgia, even though she was female. But you're talking about a great personality.
So have you had any funding for the Not Forgotten?
No, we're out of the gate. We actually, this is a grassroots effort. We by being a for-profit, everything that we build or design, it's for sale, and that way we're able to raise money, and basically we can control our own destiny that way, without having the major corporations or the 501c3s where, they want you to earmark the monies a certain way.
Okay. Now, do you have an ultimate goal for this?
Well, yes, the ultimate goal is for this design right here to go national, and that's what we're pushing for.
Okay.
Right. This initiative, the Black and Blue Necktie, is designed not just for men, because women like it. That's the unique part about it. We've had so many women that really likes this design. As a matter of fact, the ones that's leading the charge for Not One Forgotten are women. Isn't that fantastic?
Okay. Well, thank you for giving us so much information. Is there something else you'd like to share right quick?
Well, I want to say this real fast to explain what the black and the blue and black necktie is all about. The blue represents the sky, which represents hope and faith, and the black is for healing.
Okay. Well, thank you, Joel Gresham. Is there a way that people can reach you to get some more information?
Well, they could do it through my website, www.notoneforgotten.org, or they could call me at 954-687-3038.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Gresham. It's a pleasure meeting you. You're doing a great work. Thank you, everyone. Make sure you contact Mr. Gresham pertaining to his Not One Forgotten, and we'll see you soon.